Is this the end of linear electron transport? Zach, you say no. You are entirely correct. What have I left out?
What is the paradoxin though?
All right, what happens after ferredoxin? Is ferredoxin a product of the light reactions? Ferredoxin transfers a high energy electron to NADP making it NADPH. Where do you suppose these protons are coming from? Or picked up from?
Water.
Nope, not from, they are picked up from water, but water at which location in a chloroplast? The stroma, the thylakoid, or the lumen?
Roma.
Ding, 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 the stroma. Because look, down here we have the lumen. Ferredoxin is generated from an extrinsic protein in the stroma, and that electron gets transferred to NADP plus, generating NADPH. Okay, and so at this point in time, we have electron transport. We have one of our two products of the light reaction. What's the other product of the light reactions? Two.
Oxygen, right?
Oxygen.
All right, so that is, so yeah, yes, I agree. So apparently we have multiple products. So let's start writing, what our equation is with light reactions. So we generate the H2. Have we talked about ATP synthesis? No. But is it a product of light reactions?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. So that's where we're going next.
Ooh. I love good old ATP.
And so what's happened with all of this electron transport is that we've established a pH gradient across our thylakoid membrane. Okay? In the lumen, in the absence of light, the pH of the lumen is typically around 6.8 or 7. In full sunlight, pH 5. The stroma, pH 8, 8.2, 8.3 in light. So we have
What was this from again? Sorry.
8. So we have 1,000-fold difference in proton concentration. Okay? And what is going to happen is that we have our ATP synthase. Okay? This is called the C0 portion that's embedded in the thylakoid membrane. And here is CF1. And if you think of this as essentially a tunnel and a turbine, that's really what it looks like on the molecular level. So ATPase synthase has been crystallized from a wide variety of organisms. And as a proton moves through the tunnel, it passes over the turbine and it ratchets the turbine a third of a turn. Okay. And what's going to happen is that by the time 3 protons have moved across, you've generated enough potential energy in this turbine so that it can take that potential energy and add a phosphate molecule to ADP. So
So it gets that energy from 3 protons?
So after you've moved 3 protons through the turbine, there's enough potential energy stored to add a phosphate to ADP. And this gets us to our last photosynthesis hero, who came up with the chemiosmotic hypothesis that simply said that the electrochemical potential that's built up across the thylakoid membrane can be harnessed to make ATP. And the primary reason we learned about the Nernst equation is to simply illustrate the amount of voltage that you can generate by ion gradients and osmotic gradients. Okay. So this is the way that ATP is generated. What's the last thing that I have not covered that I mentioned last time, but only kind of alluded to? Because I am out of time, I'll show you the next slide. Cyclic electron flow. That's what we'll talk about at the beginning of the day on Friday. And we'll start talking about carbon fixation as well. You guys have a great day. I will see you on Friday.